Hi, my name is Jack Wallen, and I am here once again to talk to you about something. And I'm sure that you could probably put the two and two together by reading the title of this to understand what it is I'm going to talk about. Now, before you roll your eyes or step away from your computer or phone or whatever, however you're viewing this, I'm not going to just rehash this subject in the same way that I have rehashed it over and over again, because I have talked about this subject ad infinitum, because it comes up all the time. It comes up in my life, it comes up in the lives of other artists, other writers and actors and whatever. And I know that in the life of every artist, at some point, they have to stop and ask themselves, why bother? Why? We put our heart, our souls, our blood, ourselves, our very existence into our art. We spend months working on this stuff, perfecting it and making it worthy of you. And the payoff? Well, if you look at it only in the sense in the way of dollar and cents, there's not much of a payoff. I don't know many artists who are paying their mortgage with their art. Now, I will say that about 10 years ago, before social media started to tank, or before social media decided we're going to use algorithms for pretty much everything, I was actually paying my mortgage with my art. And then social media said, and Amazon said, no, let's put a bunch of money into algorithms and really screw everything up. Let's make it so hard for people to actually be social on social media, but for us to make fat stacks of cash. And then all of a sudden, writers around the world started going, what happened? Well, we know what happened. Greed happened. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. So last weekend, I had to find a link for one of my books to share with somebody who wanted to purchase it, because a lot of people don't want to go on Amazon and search. And honestly, Amazon search is so wonky that if you just type my name into the search, you have to actually type my name, and then the drop down, you have to select books, and then my books will show up. But if you just type my name and hit search, who knows what's going to come up? So as I was looking for this link, I made the mistake of going, oh, how many reviews has this book got? And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, yeah, that's depressing. And then the question popped into my mind, why bother? And I ruminated on that question for a while over the weekend. It didn't get me down this time. It used to get me down, but I'm over that. But it still hit me, and I still wanted to give it some thought. And it didn't take me long to answer the question, why bother? But this time around, like I said, I want to approach it in a different way, because I don't want you to be rolling your eyes saying, well, he said this before over and over again, so why should I bother listening to it now? Yeah. I don't know why I just started to talk like that. I don't know why I do half the things I do, or say half the things I say, or say them in the way I say them. I'm getting off track. Okay, so how do I approach this differently? Well, when I was out for a run today, a number of things, a lot of good things always happen to me when I'm out for a run, even on days like today when it's just freaking miserable out there. It's hard to breathe, hard to breathe. Easy to sweat, hard to breathe. Keep getting off track. That's the day I'm having. So I had a couple of things came to mind while I was out for my run, and I'm going to share those things with you. Probably one of the easiest ways that I can answer the question, why bother, is with my book, Defying Gravity. I always smile when I think of that book. I'll tell you why. About 7 years ago, I had a dream. I had a dream about how art lifts the soul, about how art can help us rise above, literally and metaphorically. If you've read the book, you understand what I'm talking about. So when I woke up that day, woke up after having that dream, I felt so hopeful. It filled me with such joy to be reminded why I love being on stage so much. And I immediately thought, I have got to write a book about that. I don't know what it is, but I've got to write a book about that. And then that day, again, I went for a run. And I'm not kidding you, I got maybe a quarter of the mile into my run and it hit me. It hit me how I could write that book. I stopped, I pulled out my phone and I sent myself a message. I said, yes, this is it. This book is it. This book is going to mean something. It is going to mean something for actors everywhere. And any actor who reads this book is going to go, I get it. So I went home and I made some notes, and then I had to put it away because I had some other, I was in the middle of writing a book, and I had to get that done for my publisher, and I think I actually had to write a couple of books to complete a series for my publisher. And then it was time to start writing Defying Gravity. I decided I was writing the first page of the book, and I realized I'm going to relate this back to my experience when I was in cabaret, but I'm going to fictionalize it, and I'm going to add the elements of that dream into this. And I remember the absolute and profound joy that I experienced in writing this book. Because with every page, it reminded me just how much theater meant to me. And what I'm about to say is not hyperbole. This is truth. Theater saved my life. I would not be here in front of this camera talking to you had it not been for theater. And so writing this book was a testament to that. Not just a testament to how theater saved my life, but how art transcends the human condition, and how art can lift us up above and beyond our own problems and make us forget, even if just for a few minutes or an hour or two, that the world out there is just awful, or can be awful. It's not. It can actually be very, very beautiful too, because there are people out there, and there are some really wonderful people out there. But art helps us to forget our trouble. And if I can deliver that to someone, even just one person, if I can make just one person's day a little better, then that art, the months that I have spent creating that art, meant something. And that's really all it's about for me. And I can thank my father. May he rest in peace for that. My father was a wonderful, wonderful human being who was kind and generous and sweet and caring. And he passed that down to me. So the idea that I could help somebody with my art makes it worth doing. It's not about a financial transaction. It's not about ratings and rankings and reviews. It's about how I can touch you, how I can lift your soul, how I can ease and soothe your mind and heart. with my art and help you forget about all those troubles you're having, even if just for a little while. It's the same. One of the many reasons why I love acting so much is because during those hours when I'm rehearsing or the hours when I'm performing, I get to kind of slough off my own skin. I get to step outside of myself and be somebody else for a while and forget all of my problems and take on the problems of that person. And then, of course, when the show is over, then I have to step back into my own skin and remember all my problems. But for that little period of time, I got a relief from it. And that means something. And I know how profound that can be. And if I can give that to somebody else, just in the same way that art has given to me, then it's all worth it. And it's not just limited to Defying Gravity, although Defying Gravity holds a very special place in my heart because of what it speaks of. But almost every book I have written has a purpose. Hopetown. I wrote Hopetown to remind everybody or to show everybody that it only takes one person to affect profound change, to make someone's life a little better. I wrote Among You to help young people understand that it's okay to accept themselves and accept the differences in themselves and be proud of those differences and accept the differences in other people. I wrote the Monster Theory series to remind us all that we don't always know who the monster is. I wrote the Shiro series to celebrate the LGBTQ community. I wrote the Fringe Killer series to remind people that even those that live on the fringe of society are still human beings. Every book I write has a purpose, has a meaning, has something of me in it to give to you. And if just one of those books touches you in such a way that it makes your day, your week, your month, or your life a little better, then that answers the question, why bother? Because I've helped somebody. Now, I have another thing. I'm going to start doing a series of short videos. They will be short, I promise, about each book I've written. And because I've written a lot of books, it's going to be a long series. But it's not going to be just about me telling you what the book's about. It's going to be me telling you why I wrote the book, what the book means to me, and anything special about it. And I'm going to sort of start today with that, with my book Among You, because this book means a lot to me. This book started out as a dream that I had in high school back in the 80s. That's right, the 80s. And I had the dream and it stuck with me. But I wasn't a writer at the time, so I didn't really know what to do with it. And I just realized that one of my backlights went out. Such is life. This is like the fourth take I've done on this video today because various and sundry things went wrong. But anyway, that's not what I'm going to talk about. Among You, I kept the story with me for decades. Well, from the mid 80s to the late 90s. Because in the late 90s, I finally came to the place where I was like, I need to do something with that dream because it's got to get out of me. I've got to get this dream out of me because I think about it all the time. And what I did was I wrote a play for Stage 1, the Children's Theater. The play is called Monsterville. And the play is about accepting the differences in other people and accepting differences in you. It's about a young boy In the book, it's a high school kid. In the play, it's a little younger, but I think I'll talk about this in a minute. Play can be it can be updated to be a little older, but it's about a young boy named Scott who discovers what is supposed to be the greatest haunted house in the nation, and he wants to go to it. He finally convinces his parents to take him, and when he goes, he discovers something life-changing. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it. Seeing the play was wonderful. It's fantastic. But I knew that I wasn't done with it. I still wasn't done with that story. I still had more that I needed to say with this story. And due to the urging of my then, I think, 11 or 12-year-old stepdaughter back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I don't remember when, I wrote this book. And had it not been for her, I probably wouldn't have written the book, because she was the one that gave me the confidence that yes, all of the things that I thought about the play were true, and that it needed to continue. So I wrote the book. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is while I was out for a run, I had an idea. And it's an idea long overdue. So in the back of the paperback book and the ebook is the play, Monsterville. It's all there. It's been there for a long time. What I want to offer is that any theater around the world, if you want to do this play, Monsterville, it is yours to do without paying royalties. I only ask two things. Number one, the only way you can get the script for that play is by buying the book. And instead of buying the book, instead of buying one copy of the paperback book and then photocopying the script for all of your actors, buy a copy of the book for each actor. Why? Because number one, they'll have the script, and number two, they'll have the book that fleshes out the script, the characters in the story. They'll learn so much about each character in the book that they don't learn in the play, and that'll give them more depth and detail for their characters. And so you don't have to pay me royalties. You only have to buy this book. And trust me, you will want to do this play. As much as I want that person mowing the yard out there to stop, you'll want to do this play. And it's not, you can do this play for middle grade, for high school, and even older. Because the story, the meaning behind the story is universal. But imagine this. You could do this play every Halloween because it's very Halloween-centric. You could do this play every Halloween, never pay me royalties, but only have to buy this book. That's how much I believe in this play. That's how much I think this play should be done. So, if you have a theater, or if you're in a high school or whatever, doesn't matter. If you're looking for new scripts that focus on young people, buy this book from Amazon, read the play, and there you go. Now, the second thing I would ask is that in your playbills or your curtain speeches, please make mention of the book, of the source material, my name and the book, because there might be other people that want to buy it. That's what it's all about. It's about sharing. It's about kindness. It's about doing good. And it's about helping. Just like in this book, it's about helping people understand that it's okay to be you. It's a lesson that I had to learn myself, and it took me a very long time to learn it, that it's okay to be me. I'm different. I get stares all the time for various and sundry reasons. And I've just come to the point where it's like, stare all you want. I'm going to be me. Anyway, that's all I have to say today. Hopefully this take will work because I don't know if I could do it again. So there was a little bit of noise. It doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you so very much for spending a little time with me, because I know your time is precious and you just can't sit around all day and watch videos. Well, I guess you could, but you wouldn't get anything else done. So it means a great deal to me that you would spend a little time with me here, and hopefully I have helped you. If you know an artist that is struggling with this same problem, share this with them, because they need to be reminded that there are lots of reasons why you do what you do as an artist. Anyway, thank you again. And I hope that you and everyone you love have a wonderful, wonderful day.